Imposter syndrome happens to everyone. That feeling that you're not good enough or smart enough or qualified enough is something that is just a natural human experience. But that doesn't make it any easier to handle when you're experiencing it yourself. Today I'm going to be sharing 10 mantras that you can say when you're experiencing imposter syndrome, and I'm going to be explaining how to use them and when is the best time to use these specific mantras. Now remember, mantras are not a magical cure to imposter syndrome. They are almost like something to bridge the gap from when you experience imposter syndrome to when you get a chance to reflect on this experience and try to find ways to prevent imposter syndrome in the future. These are 10 of my favorite mantras, and I want to make sure that you have access to them at any point in time. So don't worry about taking notes. You can actually grab a PDF version of these 10 mantras. I will have it linked down below. The first mantra I'm going to share with you is very simple, and that is, I am doing my best. This reminder is great for times when you're on maybe a difficult rotation, or you're being told at work or on rotations that you are not performing up to somebody else's standards. Now, of course, if you're not doing your best, that's on you. You're going to have to change that. But if you truly are doing your best, this is a good reminder to yourself that despite maybe short staffing or having a higher workload than you can handle, that you are doing the best that you can, even if you are not necessarily meeting the other people's expectations. We only have so many hours in the day. We are only one person, and we only have so much bandwidth to handle things that come our way. I know that from working in healthcare, you are often asked to do many things beyond what you could actually get done in a day, let alone in a 8 or 12-hour shift. If you're doing the best that you can with the resources you have, you're exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't feel like it. The second mantra is another great reminder, and that is, I am not alone in feeling this way. If you're the first person to watch this video, this doesn't count. But if you are watching this, you can look at the count of people who have watched this video, because chances are if you're watching this video, you've probably experienced imposter syndrome at some point or are wanting help with it right now. That means even if a couple other people have watched this video, you're not alone. I've experienced imposter syndrome. I still experience it from time to time. So even if you look around and you feel like nobody else feels this way and that you're all alone and this is just something that you are experiencing in a silo, I can promise you it's not. And if that isn't proof enough, then I recommend asking a close friend in pharmacy if they've experienced imposter syndrome as well, and chances are they're gonna tell you yes. The next mantra I want you to keep in your pocket is that I am allowed to feel proud of my achievements. Sometimes imposter syndrome makes us diminish the achievements that we do have because we're not where we want to be yet. If you're in pharmacy school and you don't have that PharmD yet, you may not be proud of the things that you're doing along the way. You have to accomplish so much to become a pharmacist. It's not just that PharmD at the end that deserves to be celebrated, it's all those big and small wins that happen in between. Maybe you did your first solo patient counseling and you did a good job and the patient was very appreciative. I celebrated the first time I managed to survive a night shift solo as a pharmacist. Those are wins. You are doing the dang thing and you should be proud of that. Being proud of those accomplishments doesn't mean you don't want to improve or you don't have room to grow. It just means that you're acknowledging the progress that you're making on your way to your goal. I like to think of my career as a journey, so make sure you're looking out the window every once in a while to see everything that you're doing as it passes by. The next mantra for you is my hard work and dedication will pay off. One of the things that I really like to remind students and residents and other new practitioners about when we have discussions about their first job is that your first job doesn't have to be your last job as a pharmacist. So sometimes when you are in the middle of a rough patch as a student, or maybe you didn't get the first job that you wanted, it may feel like that hard work that you have done didn't pay off. And unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't pay off right away. You don't graduate and magically get the perfect job. Maybe you did, and if that's you, congratulations. But for a lot of people, that's not how it actually worked out. The thing about hard work paying off or meeting our expectations is that it doesn't always meet our expectations on the timeline that we had envisioned, but that doesn't mean it won't happen at all. The thing about hard work paying off is that oftentimes it does eventually. It just may not pay off in the timeline that we expect it to. And that's okay. It doesn't have to. I really love this next mantra. It is, I have valuable knowledge and skills to contribute. No matter where you are in your pharmacy career, there is something that you can contribute to the team. team. And if you are a student, you're like, I don't know anything, I am lost, I have no idea what's happening. Chances are you do have some skills that can be beneficial, whether that is the ability to calm somebody down or explain something in simple terms, or just be the person that recognizes that a patient needs somebody to just hold their hand and tell them, we're gonna figure this out together. In the beginning of your career, it doesn't have to be that clinical knowledge, it can be those other skills. And as you grow in your career and your knowledge, you're gonna be able to add extra skills and bring new things to the table. Don't underestimate the power of your non-clinical skills. And once you have some of that clinical knowledge under your belt, know that that's powerful as well. Yes, even if you do have to go back and look at the resources, now you have the skills and knowledge of what resources to use in order to fill those gaps. That is powerful. There's just so much power in the skills and knowledge that you have. Allow them to make the world a better place. Okay, I said I really liked the last one, but this one I think may be my favorite. My worth is not defined by my job or my career. This may be the most important mantra on the list. It definitely is for me. And the reason being is you do so much training. You spend so much time becoming a pharmacist that you forget some of yourself along the way. You lose some of the things that you love, or maybe you're just not connected to the things that you really like to do as much as you used to be, even if you know what those things are. So reminding yourself that even if you weren't a pharmacist, you're still worthy of being loved by the people who love you, and that you still have value to bring to the world, even if you weren't helping somebody with their medications. Your worth is not attached to whatever achievements you have in your career. Remember that. The next mantra is, I am capable of handling any challenges that come my way. If you haven't noticed, humans are very resilient, and that means you are resilient too. The fact of the matter is, we are all capable of things that we never even imagined we could do. Sometimes I look back at my residency training and some of the stuff I accomplished in pharmacy school while doing so many other things, and I think, how in the heck did I survive that? Well, the thing is, you didn't make it an option. You made it the only solution, and that's how you get through these difficult things that are ahead of you now. Another way to use this mantra is to actually list out some of these things that you did that were really freaking hard and you didn't think you were going to get done, to remind yourself that if you're capable of doing that, you're capable of handling whatever else comes your way. The next mantra is, I'm allowed to ask for help and support. You have to give yourself permission to be a beginner. If you're just starting out pharmacy school, you're a beginner. If you've graduated pharmacy school and you're just starting your new job, you're a beginner. If you've changed jobs after being a pharmacist for 10 years and you're in a new place or doing something totally different, you're still a beginner. You won't know everything even years and years after being in your career, so allow yourself to be okay with not knowing everything. And because you don't know everything, and sometimes you can't find it in your resources, you also have to be okay for asking for help and support when you need it. You will need to use collaboration and help from other people to give your patients the best care possible. Ultimately, I feel like most people go into healthcare because they want to help people. So if you need to look at it as asking for help is helping you help your patient, then that's a great place to start. The next mantra is, I am here for a reason. The more I learn and read and grow, I truly believe we're on earth for many different purposes. So I may not understand whatever that purpose is in this moment, but there is a purpose and a reason you're in the place that you're at, even if you can't see it now. And sometimes the best way to look at this is finding a positive in a negative situation. I know that's not always possible, but if you can, try it. Maybe you have a really bad preceptor, and that is going to suck in the moment. It's okay to acknowledge that. But because of that experience, you know what you do not want to do as a preceptor, and you're going to do your darndest to not make that happen to another student if you can prevent it. Maybe you're in a job that you hate, and you're going to use that job and leverage the things that you're doing in that job now to get you the job that you want in the future. They call that like leveraging where you are to get you where you want to go. This mantra is also good when you just can't find that reason or can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It just reminds you that it's there. Even though it may be dim and very far in the future, it's still there and there's a reason. And the last mantra I'm going to share with you today is that I am not defined by my failures. We all fail, and those failures themselves don't define us, but what we do as a result of those failures definitely do. If I'm being honest with you and myself, some of my greatest successes in my career and in my life have come out of failures. Happy Pharm life, this channel, the podcast, my website, my social media presence, the speaking engagements I've got to do because of what I've done here on this channel would not exist if I had not failed in something as a student that led me into this path. That failure has given me some of the best opportunities in my career. It brings me so much joy and has given me a lot of friends and connections I never would have had if I never hit record on that first video, which was also a failure if you've ever seen it, because it is absolutely terrible. But I didn't let that failure of the first video stop me from reaching my goals and continuing to press record again and again and again. Now you have 10 really good mantras to use when you are experiencing imposter syndrome and things just aren't going your way. You can go ahead and grab that PDF version. It's linked down below. And then you can just, put that list in your white coat pocket. Pull it out when you need it. Put it in your purse. Take a screenshot of it and put it in notes in your phone so you can pull it out whenever you need it. I would love to hear which one of these mantras are your favorite, or if you have any other mantras that you use when you're experiencing imposter syndrome, leave them down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching or listening, and I will see you next time. Bye!